All right, we are officially live.
Awesome.
Okay, so the project that we did our project as kind of a broad topic for home medicating and technology access, and different things that are involved in that. It's pretty broad, but we use home medicating, the use of internet or live streaming to find causes and remedials for health issues. Sorry, I was changing the thing so it's looking at me. For health related issues, it's a very common activity today that's difficult to find anyone who hasn't done it at least once in their life. For a majority of people, visiting a doctor's office does take a lot of time, as far as getting time off work, leaving your personal activities undone, not getting things done at home. With the new emergence of things like smartphones, computers, the internet, there's a huge conveniences to locate at your fingertips what most people need to find at any given time. Um, it is easier and less time consuming, to search for answers online than to make a trip to a professional just for a question. And getting into a doctor's office obviously sometimes can take weeks, or a specialist would take months. For some things, it's an acceptable way to find information going online. In other cases, however, the information found online can be very dangerous if taken at face value and misused.
Yep, so by far the most popular topic on the internet right now is things involving dieting. Every day I swear I go on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram and I see keto or intermittent fasting, and it's meant to be a quick way to lose weight, marketed as being healthy eating. Um, Both of those either consist largely of cutting specific food groups out of your diet or meals altogether, and neither of those are particularly healthy in the long run. Um, the biggest problem with people losing weight using methods they find online is that it's just hard to maintain. They might see results faster, but then they don't make the actual lifestyle changes that they need to keep it up, and they gain it all back and typically then some. Um, these diets are typically profiting from people's failures. There's no really good way to lose weight fast without also changing your habits and your exercise styles and things like that. Um, Sometimes, like some medications will help, but those really should be gone through a doctor and not through anything you ever find online. Now, some other profits from these also come from like meal subscription plans, which are definitely banking on the current fads in the social media atmosphere, and those are not sustainable. People should always go to a healthcare professional if they're truly concerned with how much they weigh or how healthy it is.
Agreed. All right. So, another very popular niche, if you will, on the internet out there is, of course, alternative medicines or natural medicines, which include all kinds of herbal supplements, aromatherapy, natural oils, so to speak. These products are generally marketed as boosting or um, inhibiting your body's natural responses, which we all know should be done with extreme caution. Aromatherapy is fairly safe. It relies on scent to alter someone's attitude, like they have calming scents, or like, if you put mint in an aromatherapy, it's supposed to help unblock your nose, things like that. Um, Unfortunately, a lot of the essential oils out there you find, especially harmful to pets, and can cause a lot of irritation with either your skin, your nose, your eyes. Um, some of the herbal supplements you find are not necessarily researched in depth, as there should be done, and it shouldn't be taken blindly either just because it says, oh, it's good for you, it's made from a plant. There are a lot of plants out there that make people incredibly sick and can actually kill you. So these products, again, need to be used safely as long as people do their research, talk to their doctor about it because they can have a positive effect on you. A lot of companies that manufacture the products are obviously profiting from them as well. They don't always, they're not as scrutinized like by the FDA and what have you, so they don't put the right disclaimers or all of the information um, on the packaging that they should. You know, you get your medications, it comes with a gigantic piece of paper with side effects and things to watch out for, and some of these don't. Um, and we all know that our pets are generally the largest victims of accidental poisoning from eating out of your wax warmers or your diffusers that have the oils in it because it smells good to them. So you have to be very careful.
Another big thing that people use the internet for is this kind of blanket term, medical encyclopedia websites. So the biggest one is WebMD. And a lot of people will look up their symptoms and they'll end up on there and then they think they know everything about any given condition. So, like, they'll go online with a cough and they'll come to the conclusion that they're dying. And they end up in doctor's offices for simple things that would likely clear on their own, such as the flu or allergies. And then they also use this information and don't really want to listen to what the doctors have to say. They immediately want to jump to something more serious and go through unnecessary testing, which can really tax the medical system and their own paychecks and bank accounts as well.
Hmm.
So a big one from my family specifically, I heard that if you eat foods that are on the whiter end of the spectrum, it'll help fight cancer. Which there could be some truth into that with antioxidants and whatnot, but the foods you eat alone are not going to cure cancer or any other disease. Um, I mean, these websites can be helpful if you're trying to figure out if you should maybe go see a doctor, such as, okay, I've got this set of symptoms. It could be a common cold, but maybe I should go and double check.
Right.
That's okay to use it like that. The problem is when you use them and you just immediately assume you know exactly what's wrong with you and you need this specific medication and you're not willing to listen to what the actual professionals have to say about it. The anti-vax movement, for example, has a huge foothold in the internet, and
Oh my God.
misinformation is everywhere with that. And that one's based off of that one actually was based off of an article and research, but it was later overturned, and a lot of people don't know that.
Or don't care.
Right. But yeah, misinformation can cause panic, which in turn can lead to major mistrust of the industry as a whole.
Yep. Especially now that we've got so many cases of measles in Iowa now. That's scary. Heck no.
Spreads
Uh,
like wildfire.
it does. You know, one thing I did find from the Pew Research Center, they said that, you know, going online before you see a doctor and after you see a doctor to prepare or recover from a doctor's appointment, it does help with any questions that get left unanswered, but it also helps with the patient's anxiety from having to go to their doctor's appointment and maybe find out something really bad. So it can help for certain things, I agree. Um, but another form of home medicating, uh, again, comes from television. Um, every day you look on any channel, you see advertisements for specific drugs where the side effects are just listed out in this like rapid, almost like auctioneer style at the end. Like you see the ones for Lunesta, or they have a lot of ED drugs out there, stuff for sleep, things for depression, and viewers are encouraged to ask their doctors about these drugs because this can affect the healthcare industry, reduces the doctor's ability to actually accurately treat your conditions because you come in with a list of symptoms that you saw on TV that you may or may not have, but you know it's on there, and you know therefore you probably have it, right? So uh, one of the funny things that we found can be from watching medical dramas. There are tons of medical dramas out there. I really liked House. I thought that show was hilarious. I know a lot of people watch. Oh, what's that one that a lot of people watch right now?
I'm watching The Resident right now.
Yeah, I heard about that one, and then there was another one that people ask me about all the time. Like, do you watch this show? I'm like, no,
Oh,
not a
there's
huge
nothing.
fan, but you know, they look accurate. The people look like they know what they're doing. They're saying their big fancy words, and these shows are purely entertainment. Like, if you have any medical knowledge whatsoever, I sit there and I laugh at these shows that crack me up. And then, you know, if they hear about something on their favorite show and then they see commercials, it just gives a lot of really false information. And when it's used incorrectly, it just creates a headache for everybody, especially when you're not willing to actually sit there and listen to a doctor. They're like, oh, a doctor researched this drug and it's good for depression. And I get sad sometimes. It's like, well, hey, but I'm not just going to give you a drug because you said so or the TV said, you know. And then people get mad. So it does create a lot of headaches, and poor doctors' offices getting clogged with people already knowing what's wrong with them and what they need, so they just want the doctor to just write them a prescription.
Yeah, and
Kind
along
of
that
becomes
note,
pointless.
I actually have a huge interest in this topic in general because of a YouTube channel. He's called Dr. Mike, and he's an actual doctor, and he watches these medical dramas, and he critiques them, and he points out all the flaws. And it's really entertaining to see how much there is accuracy, but it's also stretched out for, again, they're dramas, so
Right,
they want to keep people's attention.
right, exactly. Like I follow Z Dog TV on Facebook because he cracks me up because he makes those music videos, but he also talks about real topics and he has his own podcast and stuff. But you know, he's an actual medical doctor. But I mean, you know, I'm not just gonna be like, oh, he said this. I'm gonna go to my doctor and be like, I have this problem and give me drugs.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the difference too. These people have authority in the field; they know what they're talking about. So, I mean, it's better to go as entertaining as the dramas are. It's better to go and see these people who are very good entertainers themselves, but also can give you much more accurate information.
Right? TV doctors aren't doctors.
In general, information on the internet includes both some accuracy and some information, misinformation. And the best way to determine fact from fiction is to look for peer-reviewed articles on the subject. The internet's a good place to start for researching, but definitely should be used with other sources, including actual doctors in person. Reviews are also a necessary thing to keep in mind on any product that you try from the internet. So if you can, you should get a review from a professional in the healthcare industry, depending on whatever the product is for, such as asking your dentist if you should use this certain product. What can be found on the internet is much safer when someone's looking for something new and fun to try, such as aromatherapy or exercise routines, than it is when someone is looking for actual medical advice, such as what medicines to take or all the illnesses that could cause one specific symptom.
Right? Because if
When
you
there's
go on WebMD and Google, you put in that you're a female and you type in like three symptoms, I guarantee you it's going to tell you you have cancer. That's always the first thing that pops up, and I'm like, why is everything a cancer symptom?
Plus, because a lot of these illnesses are, they have so many symptoms that cover such a broad range that generally they'll give you a chart. And it's like, if you've got XYZ LMNOP, oh, you might have it. But people see that one symptom and they're like, oh no, I'm dying.
Right? I got lupus because I was tired yesterday, so I'm fatigued, and therefore I have an immune system disorder, right?
Yeah, but when there's any shadow of a doubt, someone should always go to a doctor before just jumping to conclusions. Uh, it's incredibly stressful on the doctors and us as individuals when there's nothing that you can be doing except for panicking. I think the video froze.
It did freeze. I can still hear you a little bit. Or I think I got you back.
A little.
Um, there was a lot of things I really liked about this project because uh, you know being in the healthcare field, I found it very interesting. I found a lot of the information not necessarily new information to learn.
Yeah, that was very choppy. I don't know what you just said.
Um, and of course, I always do a lot of research that she's constantly Googling information. So I think that getting the different things done the way we needed to, and in a fairly timely manner. Um, if I click on you and Google, I'm crazy.
Right, so I missed all of that because the video is very choppy right now. But I mean, what I liked about this project is it allowed me to explore just these little habits that we all get into, and even I'm guilty of several of them.
I can
Maybe
see
not maybe not going online and deciding I'm dying, but I've definitely looked at my symptoms on the internet.